Waiting for trauma to occur for you to finally achieve your goals is one of the biggest things, one of the biggest mindset hindrances, and it is simply something that is stopping you from achieving what you need to achieve. And I know this resonates with a lot of you guys and a lot of my audience because it certainly affected me for a long time. I couldn't kick myself into gear. I couldn't elevate into the upper echelons or force myself to take certain actions because I was perhaps too comfortable. I was almost waiting for a travesty to occur, for a specific event to happen for me to kick into gear. Now, with something like that, what you need to understand is a couple of things. The first is your understanding of what a paradigm is. So what a paradigm is, it's a set of programs that has almost exclusive control over your habitual behavior. So it's something that's situated within your subconscious mind. So this is something that you don't consciously think about. This is something that runs in the background that dictates at least 95% of the actions that you do day to day. And of course, subconscious mind, that is information and programs that's been filled in up until the age of 7. And after that, it's quite difficult to alter and change. But in life, if you want to shift this said paradigm, you can only do it through two routes. The first is, as mentioned, a tragic event, something that is an absolute travesty, a passing of a family member, a car crash, something that shakes you to the core, right? When something is so tragic, it shifts your paradigm naturally because it causes an emotional response. That is one way. The problem is that's not going to happen to 95% of us. The problem is if you're sat there waiting for something tragic to happen for you to take action, you'll be waiting a long time and the likelihood is you'll never accomplish your goals. The second way that you can shift a paradigm, and there's only two ways based on science and research. The second way is what I implore you guys to do, is only through repetition. So this is why I say to you guys that forming an identity is absolutely imperative, because your current identity is not going to get you to your desired outcome. You will have a set of goals, and I presume that you've written your goals down. I always say this, you can't just have goals and not write them down. If you write them down, you're statistically more likely to achieve it. And this is where perhaps some affirmations may come into play, but more importantly, it's what you do on a day-to-day basis. So if you're someone that has certain vices, you might be an alcoholic, you might be a vapor, a cigarette addict, you might be addicted to sugar or certain foods or pornography, as I speak about on this channel a lot, as you guys know. You have to analyze what your addictions and vices are. And you have to see, okay, the best version of myself, what identity does he have? What sort of characteristics? What sort of traits? Okay, the best version of myself, the identity I want to form is, he does not watch pornography. He is not a smoker. He is not a fast food consumer. He is not an alcoholic drinker. He is confident. He is dedicated. He is physically in shape. So you have these traits and characteristics that your desired person will want, and that will be based on every individual. So every individual will have different outcomes, different traits and characteristics. Some might be more sociable and extroverted. You might decide actually that's not really who I want to be, but whatever you believe is going to help you fulfill your desired outcome. You're forming your new self, your new identity, and you write this down every day. Now, what's the purpose of writing it down every day? When you're writing it down every day, preferably hand on paper rather than note on phone or digital sort of software, do it pen to hand. When you're doing this daily, or you're reading a card of your new identity that you've already written down, when you're reading through it every day, what happens is the repetition is occurring. So what happens is with repetition, it won't happen today or tomorrow. It won't even happen next week or in 2 weeks. It won't even happen in 1 month. But what's occurring is that repetition is sinking into your subconscious mind. And over time, that is what is going to shift your paradigm. That is what is going to alter your paradigm so that you form your new identity, so that you form your new self. And that is only going to happen through repetition. And so I get this comment a lot from a lot of you guys. And trust me, I'm empathetic because I've been there. It took me so long where it's almost like you're waiting for a traumatic event to kick into gear, to go and accomplish your goals. Don't sit around and wait, because you'll be waiting a long time for a train that may never arrive. You're waiting to catch a train, but that train may never come. And also, what a sad way to live, waiting for a family member to pass, or a car accident, or a job loss, something so tragic that shakes you to the core, that triggers an emotional response for you to think, yeah, I need to kick into gear. I really need to change the person that I am to now actually achieve the goals that I desire. That is not the way you should be living. You need to be aggressively pursuing your goals today. You haven't got time to waste. It's actually very naive and quite selfish. And in addition, I would go further and say it's very arrogant to assume that you have tomorrow. Who says you have tomorrow? Who says I have tomorrow? We don't have tomorrow. We only have the present moment. The past gives you depression. The future gives you anxiety because we don't know what is going to come. It gives us anxiety because it's the fear of the unknown. We don't know what tomorrow brings, right? All we have is the present moment. So you only have the moment now. So when you say, I'll do that assignment tomorrow, it's a very arrogant way of thinking and a very lazy way of thinking, because I used to be like that as well. Who has informed you have tomorrow? Are you God? No, you don't know you have tomorrow. It's a very naive way of thinking. And that is why it's important that you shouldn't sit there and wait for traumatic events to occur, because that event may never come. And that's not the way to live life. The only other way to shift and alter that paradigm is through repetition. Repetition. Write it down every day. Read the card every day. Read your desired person every single day. Read it again 2-3 times a day if you need to. Because what's going to happen is the subconscious mind will detect a gap. And so your conscious mind, as positive as you can be, and not to deviate away from the person you want to be. Your conscious mind and your subconscious mind, as time progresses and as you go through the repetition process, the iteration, that subconscious mind and the conscious mind, that gap will naturally close. So when people talk about manifestation, that's what they're saying. It's not going to come through a click of a finger. You're not a genie. But that subconscious mind and conscious mind, that gap will naturally close. And the timeline, we don't know, right? It won't happen today or tomorrow. It probably won't happen next week. It might take 6 months. It might take a year. It might take 18 months. But one thing I can guarantee you with the compound effect is if you carry on every single day, just chipping away at it. What did Abraham Lincoln say? If you gave me 7 hours to cut a tree, I would spend the first 5 or 6 hours sharpening the axe and then cut it down. It's the same thing. When you're repeating again and again and again, it's not a difficult or arduous activity, but what you're doing is you're sharpening your tool, you're sharpening your axe. And then 18 months or 3 to 4 years, you'll be unrecognizable. You would have formed a new identity, and that is when you've essentially cut down the tree. That is where you need to get to. So stop waiting around for traumatic events and I'm going to wait for this to happen and I'm going to wait for... You don't have tomorrow. It's never a guarantee that you have tomorrow. It's a very arrogant, selfish and naive way of thinking. And you'll be waiting for a very long time. Don't waste any more time. You don't have tomorrow. Start now. Because one day when you do actually accomplish your goals, you'll only have one regret. And that regret will be, why didn't I start sooner? That is what you're going to tell yourself. It doesn't have to be a perfect plan. Nothing is ever perfect. None of us are ever perfect. We're not the finished article, but that's the point. You don't formulate plans and sit there and devise strategies all day long. No, just pull the trigger. I speak about this a lot. Bow and arrow. Pull the trigger and then you can refine. You can see how far away you are from the target. That is how you accomplish your goals. It's by forming an identity, repetition. Stop waiting for things to happen. Don't wait for life to happen to you. Start taking action. Pursue your goals in an aggressive manner. And one day, my friend, you will get there. So hopefully you've gained value from this video. If you have, consider subscribing, smash the notification bell, leave me your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. And I'll see all of you guys for my next video. Peace.